Hey guys, Irit here, and I have a new process video for you. And this one is a really fun one. It's kind of a bonus one that I wanted to make for all of you. And it started with clearing my desk. So that in itself is a reason for celebration because that just never happens. But I was getting kind of lost in the piles and piles of stuff on my table. And who else saw Amy Tan's video about getting an organizer to her studio? Personally, it made me feel very good. If even Amy Tan is so messy, then I sure can be also. So, what happened was while I was clearing my desk, I found a bunch of stuff that I didn't want to throw away. I threw a lot of scraps and scraps of paper I wasn't too crazy about. I didn't want to keep every tiny bit, but there were also a lot of things that were really cute, and I kind of knew if I start to distribute them amongst my stash, they will get kind of lost there, and who knows when I'll get to using them. But if I leave them on my desk and make a layout fast, then at least some of them will end up in my album. So you can see that it's just a bunch of really random stuff that they're really not connected to anything. A lot of these things are, just not even classic scrapbook supplies. They're not from one collection. They're just really, really random. So what I'm cutting into now is just a piece of newspaper from Daphne's Diary, which is a very pretty magazine. And I had this, I used some of the paper on a different project, and then I had this left over. And yeah, I'm trying to use it. I think I end up using it on this layout, or at least some of it. So these photos are of Lily, my baby girl, and we were at this kind of community celebration festival type of thing. Festival sounds way too fancy to what it was. And they had balloons there, and she was playing with them, and then she kind of made the balloons explode because she was pressing on them, and she was very frightened and insulted, and yeah. So I think this one is between the disasters. She made a couple of balloons explode, and I wanted to document that. And I got some of these cute photos of her. I'm really enjoying. I took with me my Canon G7X, and it has this really cool feature that actually one of my viewers wrote me when I showed the camera, that it has this kind of button that when you turn the dial onto it and you take a picture, it also takes an extra couple of pictures, and it also applies a bunch of random filters on the photos. And I never thought such a thing would really appeal to me, but I love some of the results that I get. It varies. Some images I delete immediately. I think with every click it makes something like 6 photos. What I mostly love about it, I mean, some of the filters are very nice. It's kind of like Instagram-y in style, I would say. But what I really like about it is that it crops some of the photos in, a very random way, obviously. And this, every time I am happy with the choices that it makes for those cropping decisions. And it's just, I just find that some of the photos are really interesting, and in a way that I never would have cropped it myself. So I'm really enjoying this feature. It takes, you can't really shoot a bunch of photos right after another because it needs a bit time to like buffer all the photos and move them to the memory of the camera, but it's a lot of fun. So you see I'm just building the layers behind my photo. I added a piece of vellum and a scrap of some watercolor paper that I was playing with, and that magazine. I really like that bit that has the pink tag and the yellow triangles. So I tried to make it work in a way that it shows. I wanted to include these cameras. They are a scrap of paper from crate paper, but I'm not sure I managed to make it work. So just trying to add some layers until I'm happy with it. I'm kind of in the mode of, you know, the more I can use, the better, because it's just a pile of random stuff. So I'm happy to use it. I really don't want to stretch these supplies. I just want to use them. And they're kind of halfway to the bin, you know. And another great thing that I found on my desk are all kinds of random extra little die cuts that I cut with my Cameo. I usually cut things with white cardstock, and then these are probably for projects for the cut shop. And yeah, I always cut extras, and then I always have extras left. And if you put it somewhere, then it just gets lost. But if you keep it on your desk handy, then you're more likely to use it. Obviously, that's also kind of a slippery slope if you're super messy like I am, because eventually you'll just have piles and piles of stuff on your desk. So it's kind of about finding the balance. And here I had a bunch of these circles that I also just played with watercolor, and I thought they went really well with my subject here, you know, Lily and the balloons. It doesn't really matter if, you know, the viewer who flips through my album gets it, but to me it worked nicely together. And you can see that, I don't know, somehow all the colors work together. And yeah, it just all works. So my background, I actually showed how I made this background on my June Shimmers video. And I created these super fast backgrounds, actually made 2 in a row with this piece of like specialty paper that I used as a stencil. I had this paper, you can see the pattern on my background. I had this paper in my stash for years now, and finally I just used it as a stencil. It has some, I don't know, red color that is not that attractive to me, so I wasn't worried about ruining it with some mists. And I used some shimmer spray. You can find all that information and see exactly how I made this background on the June Shimmers video on my channel. So, but you know, I had this extra background because I made 2, and 1 I used for that video. So I thought it was just perfect because I had all that detail, and I didn't have to make it or wait for things to dry or anything. I also had on my desk, I think 3 or something, butterflies from, these were in a hip kit, an older hip kit from months and months ago, and I used a bunch of them, but I had some left, and actually the colors worked really well with what I had going. So I kind of color coordinated those butterflies. I put the yellow one where the yellow mist was, and then the blue with the blue, and then I think there's a little bit of pink in that top butterfly. And I can have my coffee because I'm not doing any coloring, so I'm not gonna dip my brush in my coffee. And I'm kind of done with my main elements. I'm going now to add my title, and it's going to be Boom. And then I'm going to write actually in Hebrew, because it's a quote from a very famous children's book. And the book tells about these 5 balloons, and every balloon basically explodes or, you know, floats away, flies away in the book, and it tells the kids not to get upset and sorry, because that's the nature of those balloons. So that's what I'm going to write. And yeah, and she was just really sweet and really upset when her balloons exploded. It wasn't fair, I agree. And yeah, what else can I tell you about this layout? Not a lot. It was super fun to make. I'm going to add the date with a date stamp. And oh, the letters are gorgeous, gorgeous. Love these alphas. They are kind of gold, like a coppery gold, and they are by Maggie Holmes from one of her older collections. I don't remember which one, but it's this booklet, and it has a ton of letters, and it has, you know, like capital letters and also the small letters, forget how it's called, and uppercase and lowercase, I think. So I love these letters, and I pulled those from my stash. They weren't actually hanging on my desk. I try to put away the alphas, and just adding some last details with a black pen. I don't know, because it's fun, and I enjoy doodling on my layouts. And I also had these white die cut pieces, and that really added some definition to them. And yeah, just some fun little detail. You can see that better in the close-up shots. And I can't remember if I did anything else. I'm watching the video and I want to add some splatters with some gold Heidi color shine. So hopefully I did that. If not, maybe I should go back and do that. And that's it. I'm hoping I will make another one of these layouts with the scraps on my desk. I hope you will also grab some scraps and just put them on a layout. I'm looking at my schedule of videos, and yes, I will post this before the sale of my class ends. So I have a new class. It's called Watercolors for Scrapbookers, and it's a super fun class about, are you surprised, are you sitting, about watercolors for scrapbookers. And we just create a bunch of fun projects, and I go through the supplies and show you a bunch of fun techniques to use watercolors on your scrapbook layouts. So the special price for the class is $29. The full price is $35, and the price will go up on July 15th. My early bird offers are always the best. I also have bundle deals, but and they do offer a discount on the classes included in the bundle deals, but they are never as good as the early bird offers. So if you want to be aware of those also in the future, just make sure you sign up for my newsletter on my blog. And I don't spam. I just send an email when there's actually something interesting going on, like a new class, or, you know, when a sale ends. I don't want people to miss out on the best offer. So I grabbed my more dimensional embellishment drawer and added a bunch of stuff. It was also fun to use up some supplies. And yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you tomorrow in my next video. I have video every day in July. Bye.